Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're embarking on a pretty expansive journey. We're looking at the full text of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s 2025 State of the Nation address, delivered just this past Monday, July 28th.
That's right.
So our mission today, really cut through all the detail, unpack the president's key messages, and pull out the most important bits and maybe some surprising facts. These speeches are blueprints, really, and this one touches on everything from the price of rice in your kitchen to, well, where the Philippines stands in the world.
Exactly. And just to set the scene, this was President Marcos Jr.'s fourth SONA. He kicked things off, acknowledging the usual dignitaries, congratulating new senators, representatives, that sort of thing. But what jumped out immediately was his call for unity, really urging everyone, look, set aside the differences, let's unite as Filipinos, be patriotic, focus on public duty.
Yeah, and he didn't shy away from public sentiment either. He directly acknowledged that, look, despite some positive economic numbers, business confidence up, inflation down, more jobs, people are still feeling, his word was disappointed, especially with basic services. And that acknowledgement, plus his promise to not just match, but exceed efforts to make life easier over the next 3 years, that really frames the whole thing, doesn't it? Sets a high bar.
It certainly does. And we'll be digging into exactly how he plans to deliver on that promise across some really critical sectors, hopefully giving you a clearer picture of the administration's priorities and, well, where things are headed.
Okay, let's start with livelihoods. The president was adamant decent livelihood is the most effective guarantee against poverty and hunger. So how are they actually tackling job creation, supporting small businesses?
Well, it's a multi-pronged approach, it seems.
Yeah.
You've got DOLE, DTI, DSWD, DOT, all these agencies tasked with finding jobs for that remaining 4% of the workforce.
Yeah.
And a major focus is on microenterprises. So they're talking about capital with low interest, no collateral needed,
Right.
and also, which is interesting, intellectual property protection for them.
Oh, okay.
The goal, and it's ambitious, is helping nearly 2.5 million poor families start their own small businesses. Free training, capital, the whole package. Plus, there's a push to grow various industries, vehicle factories, electronics, biotech, even Pinoy textiles, a call for investment there, too.
Now, here's something that got a lot of attention. The promise of P20 a kilo of rice. He's claiming it's now proven achievable and farmers won't lose out. How's that being rolled out, and was there a warning attached?
Yes, definitely a headline item. He mentioned successful pilot runs, P20 rice, in places like San Juan, Pangasinan, Cavite, Mindoro, Cebu, Bacolod, Guimaras, Davao del Sur, quite a list. The plan is a nationwide rollout through hundreds of Kedi West stores, those government outlets, and centers in LGUs. And it's backed by a huge P113 billion for the Department of Agriculture.
Wow, 113 billion. That's serious money.
It is. Shows commitment, but the big question is scaling that up nationwide sustainably without hurting farmers or the budget long term. That's the thing to watch. And yes, a very stern warning was issued. Anyone manipulating rice or PLA prices, cheating farmers, he called it economic sabotage, and said they'll be pursued.
Right. So beyond rice, what else is happening in agriculture? Livestock, long-term stuff. It sounded like a broad effort.
Oh, absolutely comprehensive. They're working on boosting local hog production, think piglets, sows distributed, biosecured facilities, ASF vaccination to tackle high pork prices, also pushing increased production for corn, pineapple, mango, coffee, onions, the list goes on. And the numbers are quite something. Assistance has apparently reached over 8.5 million farmers and fishermen since 2022. Infrastructure, too. Thousands of kilometers of farm-to-market roads, irrigation systems built, more planned, machinery, processing systems, fiberglass boats for fisherfolk.
It's a lot.
It is. And a massive push for coconuts. 15 million hybrid seeds planted this year, aiming for 100 million trees nationwide. That could really change things for coconut farmers. Plus, asking Congress to tweak the Coconut Trust Fund Act. They're also bringing in science and tech from dust new seeds, fertilizers, modern techniques like intercropping.
And for the next generation?
Yeah, courses, scholarships in agriculture, and they're speeding up land title distribution, CLOAs, e-titles, that sort of thing for land security.
Okay, let's shift gears. Essential services, power and water, affects everyone daily. He mentioned millions still without power, brownouts, high costs. What progress was reported there?
On energy, yeah, they started with over 5 million homes off the grid. He said in 3 years, they've connected 2.5 million. Have the problem, basically.
That's significant progress.
It is. And looking ahead, nearly 200 power plants are supposedly coming online. enough for 4 million homes or thousands of businesses. Places like Quezon, Palawan, Samar, targeted for connections by 2028, plus another million homes getting power via solar home systems by 2028.
Solar. Okay.
And an interesting one for citizens, this net metering program from the DOE lets people with, say, solar panels save money, even sell excess power back to the grid. ERC is speeding up approvals for that.
Empowering people a bit there.
Exactly. And the lifeline rate for low-income families, that's been extended beyond just the 4Ps beneficiaries to cover more list-ahead families, too.
Now, he specifically mentioned that incident in Sikijor, the big brownout state of calamity. What did the investigation find, and what were the orders?
Yeah, that sounded pretty bad. The investigation apparently found a pattern: expired permits, generators that were neglected and kept failing, slow response, no proper systems for fuel or parts, basically systemic failure.
Ouch.
So the president gave direct orders. DOE, NEA, ERC, get normal power back by year-end, find long-term solutions, investigate the negligence, and order refunds if justified.
So real accountability demanded there. The question is, will that translate elsewhere?
That's the crucial question, isn't it? How effectively will these measures apply in other areas facing similar problems?
And what about clean water? Still a huge issue for millions, right?
A huge issue. Over 6 million consumers, he said, still report water not reaching their taps, despite plans for large-scale bulk water projects and filtration systems. So the LWUA, the Local Water Utilities Administration, is supposedly taking effective steps against failing water districts and their partners. The promise is stable service, affordable prices, and accountability. We'll see.
All right, let's talk about investing in people. Education, health, sports. The president stressed human capital with education top priority. What were the challenges he laid out and the programs to fix them?
He pointed to some big challenges.
Yep.
Problems with math, science, reading comprehension, high dropout rates in high school, and really worrying, 500,000 child laborers.
500,000.
Wow. Yeah. So the core policy is this massive investment in people, especially education. New programs like Aero Academic Recovery and Accessible Learning, strengthening early childhood care, also addressing mental health, planning for more school counselors.
That's important.
Definitely. And 1 billion pesos for over 300 new barangay child development centers, these bullet centers, especially in remote areas, tackling a daycare backlog that apparently goes back to 1990.
1990, good grief.
I know. Plus, accelerating child vaccinations and this new YACAP caravan for free health checks, lab tests, even cancer screening for students and teachers.
Okay, so beyond the basics, what about the learning environment itself? Teacher support, making college more accessible.
All right, lots there too. Infrastructure. 22,000 classrooms opened in 3 years, aiming for 40,000 more, often working with the private sector. Technology. Laptops for public school teachers, he made a point of assuring no anomalies in the purchase.
Yeah.
Plus, digital materials, smart TVs, free Wi-Fi, free data SIMs for students. For teachers, the measure of success is shifting. Not just pass rates, but how many students improve, show more ambition. Over 60,000 teaching positions added, cutting down on non-teaching paperwork, digitizing the rest, and significantly, overload and overtime pay starts this school year.
That'll be welcomed, I'm sure.
No doubt. Then there's TechBot integration. TESDA programs woven into senior high. Students can specialize bookkeeping, graphic design, maybe get NC 2 or 3 certificates right out of school.
Straight into work, potentially.
Exactly. Higher ed. A big fund, it means free public college for over 2 million students a year. They've added 260,000 beneficiaries since 2022, P60 billion allocated for next year, plus over 200,000 new TechVox scholarships added just this year. All contributing, he said, to the Philippines being second in ASEAN now for college and TechVoc enrollment.
Impressive jump.
And recognition, too. 114 Philippine universities now globally recognized, up from 22 in 2022. 60 of those are public, and presidential merit scholarships for top high school grads.
Okay, shifting slightly, poverty eradication, health, nutrition. What are the key social programs, and how is healthcare becoming more affordable, more accessible?
Well, the 4Ps cash grant program continues. They're looking to amend the law to make sure support lasts long enough. Over 5 million households helped, and 1.5 million families have actually graduated, improved enough to not need it anymore.
That's a positive sign.
It is. And LGUs are being urged to enroll homeless people into 4Ps and other DSWD programs. Then there's the Walang Gatam, or No Hunger program, aiming for 600,000 households this year, 750,000 by 2027. Plus, DSWD and DepEd feeding programs continue for over 3.5 million kids in daycare and schools. Based on that idea, a full stomach means a full mind. Another billion pesos allocated for that next year.
Now, this next part really caught my ear, and I bet listeners too. The big improvements in healthcare access, Health benefits. What really stands out?
This is where some really dramatic changes were announced.
Yeah.
More public hospitals, specialty centers, these 53 BUCAS centers in 32 provinces giving free outpatient services, checkups, x-rays, labs. And this is huge. For the first time, apparently every single town in the Philippines now has a doctor.
Every town. Wow.
Game changer for access, potentially. And Health benefits have expanded massively. We're talking full coverage now for heart attacks, open heart surgery, valve repair or replace.
Full coverage.
Full coverage. There's a cancer assistance fund, HPV vaccine coverage, $1.7 billion for cancer meds Health doesn't cover. Dialysis, 3 times a week for a whole year, plus the meds, now free.
Free dialysis. That's life-changing for many.
Absolutely. Kidney transplant limit raised dramatically, $2.1 million now, up from $600,000. And post-op services, meds are covered too. Coverage also increased for severe dengue, $47,000, cataract removal, $187,000, plus outpatient services, ER visits, kids' eye exams and glasses, malnutrition treatment, PWD therapy, rehab equipment. It's a long list.
It really sounds like it.
And the zero-balance billing in DOH hospitals.
Right.
Basically, for basic accommodation, patients pay nothing. Health, Mayfip, PCSO, PAGCOR cover it all. And they're streamlining medical assistance process through the eGov app, trying to remove that financial barrier entirely.
It's a massive shift if it works as described. What about promoting wellness, sports development?
Yeah, tackling rising adult obesity, promoting active lifestyles, games, fun runs, Zumba, encouraging LGUs to open parks, do car-free Sundays. The Sports Commission is opening its tracks in Pasig, Manila, Baguio for free public jogging.
Making facilities accessible.
Right. And a new national sports program starting in schools, sports clubs, intrams, talent spotting from a young age. And he gave shout-outs, of course, to national champs Pacquiao, Hiddle and Diaz, Kaloy Yulo, boxers Era Villegas, Nesty Patricio, EJ Obiena, Alex Ala, Paralympians. Even the Philippine men's curling team, joking about being champions without Winder.
Good point.
Right.
Okay, let's move to connecting the archipelago. Infrastructure, digital transformation. What are the big projects? What's the vision?
The vision is build better more, essentially. Building not just for today, but for tomorrow. Roads, bridges, trains, airports, ports, irrigation, housing, it's across the board. Work continues on big train lines, north-south commuter railway, the subway, plus improving the existing MRT, LRT.
And for commuters.
Bigger discounts on LRT, MRT for PWDs, seniors, students up from 20% to 50%. And this 1+3 Pamilya Pass for Sunday travel to help families save money.
Little things that add up.
Exactly. And remember those Dalian trains, bought in 2014, sat unused for a decade.
Vaguely. Yeah. What about them?
They're finally being put into service. 3 coaches running now, more expected by year end. And the old Love Bus is coming back, supposedly free. Pilot testing in Davao and Cebu now.
Free Love Bus. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, what about the mega projects? The ones really cutting travel times, connecting regions?
Right, some huge ones. The Bataan-Cavite Interlink Bridge, 32 kilometers across Manila Bay, starting this year. Supposed to cut a 5-hour trip down to 45 minutes.
5 hours to 45 minutes. Incredible.
If it works, yeah. Then there's rehabbing the PNR Bicol line, Binahan Bridge, extending trains down to Regay, Camarines Sur, Tagkawayan, Quezon. Should ease traffic to Bacam. SLEX extension from Batangas to Quezon, opening in parts by 2026, cutting a 4-hour trip to 1 hour eventually. New bridges opening in Tawi-Tawi, a big 428-kilometer Mindanao project, connecting Cagayan de Oro, Davao, Gensan. And from Metro Manila, that Guadalupe Bridge rehab, they're building temporary detour bridges first to keep traffic moving. Smart planning there.
That is smart. Now, he also mentioned smaller things like hanging bridges, but then got really strong on corruption and projects. What was that about?
Yeah, he stressed how vital those hanging bridges are, especially for teachers, students in remote areas. Mentioned collapses like at Mitsalip, Zamboanga del Sur, ordered immediate inspection and repair nationwide.
Good.
But the corruption message was powerful, condemning mismanagement, bad design, shoddy materials, delays, lack of maintenance, calling out ghost projects, kickbacks, SOP. He specifically mentioned a bridge in Isabela Cabagan's Damaria. Cost 1 billion pesos, took 10 years, collapsed in days.
Unbelievable.
Contrasted it with the old San Juanico Bridge, durable, but suffered from neglect.
Yeah.
So the Build Better More mantra is really about quality, timely completion, maintenance, public safety first.
A clear message. Now, beyond the physical, what about digital connections? Internet access, government digitalization.
Making progress there, too. Phases 1, 2, and 3 of the National Fiber Backbone are done, aiming for faster internet. Free Wi-Fi sites have exploded from 4,000 in mid-2022 to nearly 19,000 now.
Yeah.
Over a million SIM cards with free data going to schools, especially remote ones. Still a challenge, though. 12,000 public schools still lack internet. But DICT and DepEd aim to connect them all by year-end. Ambitious.
Very. What about the eGov app?
Launched last year, now functional. Offers over 40 government services, including from LGUs, cutting down queue times, hopefully. Things like driver's license renewal, PhilHealth, PayGuyBeg, GSIS, OFW documents IDs, MBI clearance, and ETN coming soon.
Making life easier, potentially.
That's the idea. And on a practical note, that 11-year backlog for LTO license plates apparently resolved. New registrations and plates promised within 3 days now.
About time. Okay, Section 5, safeguarding the nation. Peace, security, foreign relations. What's the approach internally?
Strengthening police and armed forces, modernizing equipment. But a really positive point he highlighted was reintegrating former rebels. Thousands of them. Government and private sector helping develop their communities, roads, water, jobs. He said over 13 million Filipinos are now safe from conflict and declared no remaining guerrilla groups in the country.
No remaining groups. That's a bold claim.
It is, and a commitment to prevent new ones forming. He credited AFP, PMP, and former rebels working together, especially in Barham, leading to a more peaceful, rights-respecting situation there.
But despite official stats maybe showing crime down, people still worry about safety. What's being done about serious crime? Especially drugs.
Right. Perception matters. So enhancing police presence, aiming for that 5-minute response time, actively working on solving those missing persons cases linked to illegal cockfighting syndicates. Vowed to go after the masterminds, no matter how powerful, with heavy penalties.
Okay.
Anti-drug ops.
Yeah.
$83 billion worth confiscated from labs, attempted imports, mentioned recent big bust. He personally witnessed 1.5 tons of shabu being destroyed.
Huge amount.
Staggering. Over 153,000 arrests, including 9,600 plus high-value targets. And here's a striking detail he mentioned. Over 677 government employees arrested in these operations.
Government employees.
Yeah. Including over 100 elected officials, over 50 police officers. It really highlights that internal challenge, corruption within the ranks.
Absolutely.
He said the total drug seizures in 3 years nearly matched the entire previous administration's haul, and operations continue.
Okay, turning outwards, Philippines on the world stage, support for Filipinos abroad.
He stated the Philippines is held in high regard globally now, attributed to fair, calm relations, respecting agreements and international law, and reiterated that long-standing policy, friend all, enemy to none. That'll be the focus, hosting ASEAN in 2026.
Right.
Big efforts protecting Filipinos abroad, especially in danger zones. Mentioned freeing hostages from Houthi rebels after over 400 days, with Almond's help.
A major success.
And diplomatic work securing clemency for over 600 Filipinos convicted abroad in 3 years. Thanked leaders from UAE, Qatar, Bahrain personally.
Okay, final section. Disaster resilience, a constant issue. And accountability for all this spending. How are they tackling natural disasters?
He acknowledged it directly. 4 typhoons just in July, 12 more expected, active volcanoes like Canlon. It's constant. The strategy is continuous improvement, learning from each event, making preparedness automatic. So building more modern evacuation centers, not using schools anymore, deploying tech, Doppler radars, seismic stations, landslide sensors via Pagasa, FIVOL CS, using DOS mobile command centers for rescue.
Technology playing a bigger role.
Definitely. But he also stressed citizen cooperation, discipline like in waste disposal vigilance, and that spirit of bayanihan, mutual aid, emphasizing every Filipino life is important.
And this leads right into that very strong point on accountability, especially with flood control projects. He seemed genuinely angry about corruption here.
He did, very direct. Said his inspections found failed, collapsed flood control projects after typhoons. Called many ghost projects, blamed corruption, kickbacks, SOP. Expressed real shame for those stealing public funds, especially from flood victims.
So what's the action plan?
Immediate and concrete. 1. DPWH must submit a full list of all flood control projects from the last 3 years nationwide. 2. The Regional Project Monitoring Committee examines that list, reports failures, unfinished work, suspected ghost projects.
Okay.
3. And this is key. That list will be published. Public scrutiny. Public feedback to help investigations.
Transparency.
Exactly. 4. Audit and performance review to see how the money was spent. 5. Charges filed against accused parties, including contractors, in the coming months. Hmm. He wants public truth and accountability.
And the budget threat.
Oh, yes, a very bold statement on the 2026 budget. Vowed to return any proposed appropriations bill not perfectly aligned with this national expenditure program, even if it means a reenacted budget.
Wow, that's drawing a line in the sand with Congress.
Absolutely. Ensuring funds strictly follow the government's plan. It raises big questions about legislative relations and how budget implementation will play out.
So wrapping this all up, we've covered a huge amount from the SONA. What's the big takeaway? It feels like a push for rapid, tangible results everywhere, from rice to healthcare.
I think that's right. If you connect the dots, it paints a picture of an administration now halfway through its term, really focusing on direct impact and, crucially, accountability, especially in those core areas. Basic services, infrastructure, public money, that strong language against corruption, the specific steps for flood control projects that feels noteworthy, maybe signaling a shift.
And he ended quoting a national hero, right? About true patriotism being about striving for the greatest good for others, urging people not to lose hope, affirming the Filipino spirit.
Yeah, a powerful closing message. Brave, excellent, hardworking, resilient, and good, he called Filipinos. Which leaves us, and you listening, with a thought perhaps. As all these ambitious plans unfold with these calls for transparency and accountability, what parts of this Bagong Filipino vision resonate most with you? And what areas will you be watching most closely in the years ahead?
Definitely food for thought. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you feel a bit more informed and maybe a lot more curious about what's next for the Philippines.